Hi, so this is my PowerPoint on assistive technology. So, speech to text. This is the main one. So, in the corner, I have speech to text, and then all these different people that like to use speech to text. So, and like how they can use it in the workplace. So, speech to text is really useful in the workplace for blind people because, they can't see. And so, if they're still trying to do their work, it can be really helpful. If they need to write a report, they can just say the information and then it can be written out. And for people with dyslexia, it can be easier because it's really hard to type, and not every single platform that you use to write on has a dyslexia font. And so speech to text can be really helpful because even with dyslexia font, I think it can be hard to, I don't have it, but I think it could be hard to still read. And then people with autism use it for essays and reports, just the same way as dyslexic and blind people use it. It can just help them gather their thoughts and be able to kind of talk and let everything, what you know, spew out, kind of, and just let it flow onto the page. And then people who are visually impaired but not quite blind. And then, like, people who are visually impaired but not quite blind, it can be helpful, again, to write reports and to be able to talk to people and write emails. It can just be helpful. People with ADHD, it can be helpful to focus. And like I said, I have ADHD, and like I said, it helps to spew out. Like, you can just spew out your information, and then it can just go onto the page, and then you can kind of revise it a little bit. And then people who have trouble reading but aren't dyslexic, it can be helpful. Again, my best friend has trouble reading, and speech to text helps her be able to kind of gather her thoughts, and it just goes a lot faster. And then it's always spelled right, and she doesn't have to worry about that. And then closed captioning / visual cues. Closed captioning helps with people who are blind. Oh, not blind. What am I talking about? I mean deaf. I looked at that ear and then I said blind, but I knew it was deaf. People who are deaf and people who have ADHD and people who have autism. So people who are deaf, it could obviously be really helpful if, like, I think it's more helpful if the teacher or the boss or whoever's giving a presentation has a mic, and then if there's a live presentation, they can see that. And then at the bottom, I know there's a lot of closed captions sometimes, but the person who has the mic has to turn that on, and so that the person who's deaf or hard of hearing can follow along just as well as everybody else. And then the big red light is supposed to show, like, fire alarms, how it can be really helpful. I feel like especially like in a public place like that, it would be helpful to have a fire alarm with a light on it, so that even if they can't hear it, I'm sure they probably feel a vibration, but they probably just wouldn't know what was going on, because that'd be kind of confusing, I guess, just to feel it but not be able to tell what it is. But I think a light would be helpful if they knew that was a designated fire alarm light. And then ADHD people, it just helps them focus. Like I said, I have ADHD, and it helps me focus when there's closed captions, because instead of focusing on, like, what's going on in a presentation or what's going on around me, I can solely focus on the closed captions. And then the light bulb was kind of the same thing. It's supposed to be like for a doorbell, or just like any type of thing that would normally be alerting us with sound, but alerted with light. And autism, people with autism, they can use, just kind of like ADHD, they can use it to help focus and, like, hone in on things that they need to focus on. And then this next one I kind of did backwards. I did a disability first, and then a bunch of things that is used for that disability in the workplace. So, things wheelchair users need in the workplace. So, there is the man who has a wheelchair, and these are a bunch of things he would need for his workplace. So this first one, like for his office space, the office that he would work at would need to be able to help comply with these things. So the first one, I don't know if you can tell, but that's an adjustable desk. Like she's standing up working, and wheelchairs are big, and so it's really hard. A lot of desks don't really fit normal chairs, let alone a whole wheelchair. So that can be. Sorry, my brother came in. But wheelchairs are huge, and they can't really fit underneath normal desks. So a desk that is able to be lowered or higher is really helpful. And then hardwood floors so that the wheels can go across without getting caught on carpet. And then this one is supposed to be flexibility in the workspace. So like if there's like flexible desks, so the desks are able to be moved quickly, if they need to rearrange things to make it an easier pathway for the wheelchair. And then a ramp to be able to get in and out of the building. I was wondering at Davis, I don't think they have a ramp anywhere. I don't know. We don't really need a ramp because there's not stairs, but we do have an elevator I know about, but that would be really hectic and kind of difficult. So I don't think Davis is very wheelchair accessible. And then just things that have wheels on the bottom. As you can see, this backpack has wheels on the bottom. So kind of like luggage, I guess, but to be able to drag it along with you. Because you're using your arms already. But like if you could tie it behind you, but I feel like you just wouldn't be able to carry that much. But something that maybe you could hook onto your wheelchair would be helpful to be able to bring the stuff that you still need. And then the best thing of all, an elevator, because you just go in the elevator, go up, and then you're already upstairs. And that's all that I have. Thank you.